going to be that jazzy kind of music. What we want in the morning, right? You is not convincing. Can only blame it on the music. Am I properly connected now? No? Yes? Okay, I see a thumbs up. Fantastic. Ah, there we go. I feel like I don't want to stand behind this. Guys, do you not have a lapel for me? I want to walk around so I can showcase my local dress. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Okay. Ah, fantastic. There's a guy with a plan. All right. Thank you so much for being here this morning. I see it's a slow start. There's 2 elephants in the room that we can blame. Who knows which one? Aha. Mr. Escom and the other one, act of God. The rain, so it's going to be a slow start, but in respect for those of you who are here on time, we are kicking off. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Everybody else will join us as we go along. So my name is Happy Nginguma Khumalo Ngidi, and I am the Chief Marketing Officer at Proudly South African. But I'm also playing a dual role today. I'm facilitating the session for you this morning. So I know it's been a long year, right? We are all so fatigued, and we just want to shut down and rest a bit. So we're going to try to keep you as interested as possible today. This is our very last webinar, forum rather, and it's what I call the graveyard shift. The very last one when people are dragging themselves, literally. But so please work with me. My name is Happy. Can you try and keep me happy so I can keep you happy? Do we have a deal? Yeah. I always say it's a trap. When your parents give you a name, Happy, it's a trap from your parents and God. It doesn't matter how upset you are. I mean, my house was broken into last night, but here I am, showed up like nothing happened. But anyway, it's one of those things. Thank you so much for being here this morning to the Social Media Bootcamp. Social media, something that we are all as businesses, that we all need. And we're very glad that we managed to secure some of our stakeholders and friends who are specialists, if you like, in the social media space to come and share with us on how to maximize the power of social media, in the best interest of your business. This is what it's all about. Never mind the big English there. Bootcamp, what. It's really about how to maximize the power of social media for the benefit of your business, especially in light of the fact that many of the businesses, it's hard. Marketing budgets are not easy to come by. Advertising budgets, it's not easy, but there is something that we call social media that can really, really, really work in your favor. For your business. Why are we having a candlelight lit dinner? Oh, is it that guy? Okay. All right, I assume that, there we go, sorted. Okay, so our program today is, very much, it's an important discussion, but very light-hearted. It's not a boardroom discussion. So we do have, just to say that thank you so much for being here this morning. We really appreciate your time and our speakers. So we have a member and founder of a company called Masodi Organics, owned by the most petite person I've ever come across, with a bright mind. Don't let her physique tell you otherwise. Her name is Liz Letswalo, and a round of applause for her, please. Fantastic. And then we have a guy who knows how to cook the best pizza in town. Okay, no one is convinced. Okay, I've eaten it. Do you bring us some pizza today so I can justify my my claim? He is also a friend of the campaign, a member also, and his name is Komotso Motshehwa. Welcome to Komotso. We have Ms. Amanda Ndlangisa, who is going to be looking at the issue of copywriting. And I would imagine, by and large, also protecting your idea. It's one thing for you sitting here to have a great idea, but if you don't protect that idea, to try and avoid the please call me situation, you know what I'm talking about, right? She's here to talk about it. She will be on video, joining us from the other part of town. And then we also have Miss Bianca Moreira. Did I pronounce that properly? Yeah, like 10 out of 10. Thank you so much for being here, Bianca. And Bianca is the owner of House of Prayer. Freya. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. So please keep this conversation going on social media. Our hashtags for today is hashtag living lekker locally. Right? Yeah, living lekker locally. It'll all make sense just now. So living lekker locally, but there's another one, buy local to create jobs, which is our long-standing message in the public domain. And the very last one is social media bootcamp. Social media bootcamp. Do we have Wi-Fi connection? Oh, it just connects. It doesn't ask you for your DNA. Okay. All right, just connect. It does not ask you for your ID number and okay, fantastic. And then there's a competition. And so I'm going to request that you listen in, please. Very simple question. How old is Proudly SA? Those of you who follow us on social media platforms, you will know that we've just cut a cake. 2 weeks ago, recently. And then the other question is, how will you be living lekker locally this festive season? There's 2 people who look very worried. They're giving me the look. So the question is, how will you be living lekker this festive season? All right, so thank you so much. I'm going to kick off representing Proudly South African, and it's great to see many of our members in the room today. Really, really great to see you. And this is for you, and we are hoping that you'll engage with us as much as you possibly can, which will be fantastic. So, oh, that would be me, for those of you who don't know what I look like. And so we are most of you will know we are a buy local campaign. We are told at times that we are the sticker people, as in, the logo, and we are devastated to hear that, because there's so much more to what we do than just a sticker. Our mandate is a local one, a domestic mandate, and we are mandated to influence local procurement and localization. We believe that localization is our saving grace, if you like. In fact, this is on the back of a research that we did quite recently with Dr. Iraj Abedin, who's a credible, renowned analyst, who helped us for about 4 months to find scientific data to justify our claim as Proudly South African when we say, localization is what our economy needs, that we need to rotate the rand within the borders of South Africa for as long as possible. We need to support our own products and services uh, and not be apologetic about it. Because the buy local phenomenon is a tried and tested method the world over. Australia has got its own buy local Australia. America has got its own buy local America. So, and South Africa is no different. Hence, we exist as the only official buy local campaign of the country to remind South Africans at any given opportunity that buying local to create jobs will somewhat make a difference to our economy. We all know that the economy of the country was in trouble way before COVID. COVID was really just, what's the term for it? It paralyzed us as a people, as a business, the most cruel thing that we've ever lived through in this generation. Where not only did it affect many, many businesses, but it also, dealt with us emotionally as a people. Cruel, a cruel, cruel situation. One that did not allow us to mourn our loved ones, one that did not allow us to process things the way that we are accustomed to as human beings, let alone the businesses that shut down, people who were retrenched. I mean, the repercussions were devastating, but we are here. Most of us are here today to carry on and forge ahead. So the economy was in trouble before that. I mean, before COVID, we had been downgraded quite a number of times as an economy. And we are here to say, as Proudly South African, contrary to popular belief, the government responsibility is not to create jobs. Who agrees with me? Nobody. One lady. I'll keep my eye on you. The government's responsibility is not to create jobs. Their responsibility is to create an enabling environment for the economy to work. They can't help each and every one of us and say, we'll employ you here, we'll employ. It's never going to happen. But for them is to create an enabling environment for all the businesses represented here today to function and to function productively. And then all of us can then play a role in ensuring that those businesses, one way or another, have a positive ripple effect when we do buy, when we do support, and all of that. I'm hoping that gives you a bit of background about the work we do. There's a lot. Follow us on social media. I always say I have no idea where we're going, but just follow us. We'll get there together. We'll get there together. And I'm going to briefly, for 5 minutes, just tell you how we optimize on social media. Guys, don't let anyone lie to you. We look very rich at Proudly at South Africa. You know that rich auntie? Yeah, they are so broke. Ne? So broke. It is on back home. I'm that auntie. But you step out with your Vaseline, all sorted, makeup, hair, and no one believes you when you say you are broke. That's Proudly SA. We can stretch the rand as much as possible with the stuff that we do, but we have very limited marketing budgets as well, as compared to our stakeholders in the same space of work. I won't mention them by name because just now, I'll trend for having said that guy has more money than we do. But they do have money, the other people, more than we do. But we have, so we've also have an appreciation of how we can maximize on social media. In the last 5 years, since we've taken the rope and, we are led by not a new CEO rather, but he's been in the game for long as a CFO and then jumped ship to be the CEO. We have seen our social media grow in leaps and bounds. But it's also because of the stuff that we do. Remember, we're talking to human beings. Generally, human beings are attracted to beautiful things, right? Me, I'm attracted to beauty. I don't know about you, because you're not saying yes. But so we've capitalized on that. With the little money we have, we are able to, make make use of social media and make it visually attractive to try and get through to an audience that we are wanting to talk to. So our LinkedIn is our professional platform where we're seeing a nice growth in it. There's a specific market with that we're talking to there. And the specific content that we will generally put on LinkedIn. And it won't be the same content that we have on Insta, for example. And I think many of you in the room will know that. So TikTok is our, so we came to a point at some stage where we thought TikTok was for those small people in our lives who have lost their minds and who have too much time on their hands, and until some of us started to have an appreciation of the reality. So those of you who are parents will know that in your homes, your children will get you to do the most weird things in the name of TikTok. I've done those things. And then one starts to appreciate the fact that TikTok is a movement that you cannot ignore. So if your brand is well placed to be on that platform, take advantage of it. We slowly growing our presence on TikTok. It's one that we ignored rather, for the longest time, but it's okay to concede, guys, right? It's okay to say, okay, I was wrong. Let me try this platform, and Proudly South African is one of those where we conceded and said, okay, let's do the right thing. Facebook, we have a nice presence there. You won't necessarily see what we posted there, but it's just to give an idea of what our social media page would generally look like. So we have a nice thing there going on Facebook. YouTube is another movement that we couldn't ignore for the longest time. You will know that I think what we've learned with the power of social media is the realities around social media. You cannot have somebody in your space who runs your social media business and they are extremely what's the word I'm looking for? Sensitive. Otherwise, you're going to fight with every second person you come across. Because on social media, there's that uncle, right? Or that auntie. Okay, let me balance it. There's that uncle or that auntie who will want to take you on anything you post, because they have to sound a lot more clever than you. They know your brand much better than you do. You will not believe the number of times people have said to us on social media, but you could do this differently. How about this? And a lot of the things that they would suggest are things that we have gone through. We've tried before. They either work or they don't, but we can't be here and not know what we are supposed to be doing. Though I must say that every now and then you will find a learning point from somebody who might just drop something and you're thinking, maybe, because that's the only way you're going to grow, right? You can't conclude that you know everything, but there's that auntie and that uncle where you want to take them on, and then it's a mess, we live by the principle that, do you know that at times it's okay not to react? Yes? No? It's okay not to react at times. At times it's absolutely important, but at times it's okay to just leave it. And because it dies a natural death. Ne? Somebody posted on social media that, and I agree with them. They said South Africa is such a movie. The 1 minute something is happening, 5 minutes later we've forgotten about what has happened. Somebody else has lost their mind completely and we're following that story. It's such a high pace. So things do die a natural death very, 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 very quickly. YouTube, I've touched on it. Excuse me. This is what our Twitter page and our Insta page would look like. I think our biggest strength is both Twitter and Instagram. There's a lot happening there. Though we find that at times, and it's okay to admit, we're not the Twitter market per se, because Twitter is meant to be very controversial. If you have beautiful, nice stories where you want brownie points, you're not going to get it. Right? And it's so frustrating. You've got to be controversial. We've got to, but we are not. We try and stay away from that kind of vibe because our credibility as Proudly South African is in our brand and our reputation. We can't mess with that. So, at times we don't get the talkability and the interaction that we are hoping for because a lot of Twitter people who are special people, in my view, find us boring. There's no story here, but if there's a talk of potential corruption, oh yeah, we will get an audience. We will get an audience, but unfortunately, we're not those guys. But you know what I mean. So it depends on which side of the fence you are on. This really just talks about the understanding your buyer's journey because that's what it's all about, right? If you're with your product or your service, who you're trying to communicate with, a potential buyer. It defeats the purpose if you're a business and you have no market. No one opens a business with an intention to fail. Yes? Nobody. Which takes me to my very passionate point about the fact that you must also not be apologetic about the fact that you're in business to make money. Don't hide that fact. I'm getting a very soft clap over there. Yeah. I saw you. You were not sure whether to clap. You mustn't be apologetic. Guys, you're in business to make money. You must make money, make profit, and take care of your overheads, obviously, to be able to continue with your business, but also pay yourself because because in the context of business, guys, it doesn't matter that you've got a team of 6 people taking care of each facet of your business, but ultimately, you are the business. If the business makes it, you make it as an owner of a business. So you are a founder, you are a chief marketing officer, you're a marketing manager, you're the sales manager, you are the person who answers the phone, you're the face of the business, you are the accountant, you are the lady that welcomes people into the office, makes tea, sweeps the floor. You may not do it physically yourself, but that's what you should be worried about. In fact, you should be able to invest enough time in those different parts of your business to be able to exercise empathy for your staff. You need to know how it feels like to make a cup of tea for a guest. You need to know how it feels like to scrub the floors of your reception area. You need to know how the finance person feels like when it's end of the month and they are tallying up all the debts and they have to pay this one and they have to chase people for payments because people forget that they owe you, right? You have to chase and chase. But if as a business owner, you do not have enough empathy to know what kind of, what your staff members go through, that business is not going to work. You need to know where each and every cent that you're investing in your business goes to. You need to know that. So, and that hence I'm saying you are an overall, you don't have a marketing manager and a salesperson and a social. You need to understand what's going on social media. You need to know. You need to know the growth plan, anticipated growth. You need to be able to benchmark that against something that you've seen or that you need to know. You just need to know. So while working on framing the inbound marketing strategies, the aim is to attract potential customers long before they're ready to buy into the idea. Most parts of these strategies involve guiding the customer on their journey towards making the decision. Hence, it is important to understand the 4 stages of the buyer's journey, starting off with awareness. Create an awareness. Create an awareness of you, because if you don't create an awareness of you, no one's going to know about it. Don't assume that you've posted once, Jesus must show up. It's not going to happen. It takes a lot. So create an awareness and then consideration. So once, as a potential customer, I see your brand, so I'm aware of it. my thought process as a potential customer is that I have to start considering it. Why should I buy your product, sir, as opposed to hers? Which brings me to a reality. If you have a brand of bottled water, for example, or a skincare product, and ultimately you're enjoying shelf space at Pick n Pay or at Clicks or at Discam or whatever the case may be. When I, as a customer, walk in and I look through the shelf and there's 3 different skincare products, why should I focus on yours and make a purchasing decision in favor of yours? What's going to set you apart? Taking it for granted that, well, I've made it, I'm on the shelf of Pick n Pay is not good enough. Is your product visually attractive? We've had a seminar in the past where we were talking about branding and a product, and where we were telling the hard truth to some of our members, and we said to one of the members back then, your product is not gonna make it, because quite honestly, as hard as it's going to be for you to hear this, it is not visually attractive. You just did a quick job wanting to get access to the shelves without really taking a back step and saying, if I were the customer and I come across a product like this, would I buy it? And we help that person to re-strategize and redo the labeling and all of that, because we knew that we have a responsibility to have the hard conversation, but in anticipation of good results going forward. Decision. Then once somebody considers your product, then they have to make a decision. They can't consider forever and ever, amen. They've got to make a decision, and the decision hopefully then culminates into a purchase. But before all of that happens, it takes a lot of work from you to be able to ensure that the purchasing decision is in favor of your brand. Social media campaigns are very important, as you know. You've got to be out there in the public domain at all times, trying to capture the attention of your audience. I'm very hectic when it comes to spelling, and I've just noticed something. I've just noticed something, and we have a long-standing joke in our department. Anybody who lets go a spelling error, they pay 5 rand. So I'm looking at the team to see who's the victim. She's already saying me. So when you make a spelling mistake, 5 rand. But I also have a lot, let me tell you, and they are not shy to tell me, 5 rand, you owe us. Anyway, it's offer incentives, competitions, as I said, vouchers and all of that, and consider a partnership. A partnership always works in your favor, guys. I don't know how you feel in terms of your brand. We can't speak on behalf of your brand, but we know that as Proudly South African, it makes sense to partner. In fact, work in silo at times doesn't work in your favor. But when you partner with somebody, so we have Twitter spaces where we talk to members and brands and customers and all of that. There's always nice interaction there, and it grows your following. It grows your following because somebody comes across you, they see there's a Twitter space conversation happening, they log on and they like what you say, then you've got a follower. Instagram Live, we do quite a lot of that. We've got something called the Local Friday Chat, where we talk with, not ambassadors, we don't have ambassadors at Proudly SA. We've got friends of the campaign who have a large following in their respective platforms, and we chat to them about their understanding and appreciation of localization, supporting local, why they think they should be supported. Whether it's somebody who is on television as an actress, why must we watch them from a local content perspective? But do they understand the value chain behind the work they do? That it's not only about them as an actress, it's about behind the scenes, the makeup artists, the stylists, the caterer, the security, the script writer, the production manager. Do you see the value chain? Those are jobs. That doesn't happen by magic. In fact, we started a tour. We have tours that we do in different sectors with, where we approach university students and we say who are in different sectors. So we go to varsity and say students who are in the who have a liking for the automotive sector or who are in engineering and all of that, and they would like to go to a vehicle plant where they make a local car like Navara or Toyota Cross or BMW 3 Series or Mercedes-Benz C-Class. We take them to the factory for them to see what goes on behind the scenes to manufacture a car, from engine to the body of the car, to tires, to mirrors, to seats, all of that. So they have an appreciation of that industry. Because that kind of experience, you're never going to get it in a lecture room. It's never going to happen. So in the context of, I started off with acting, we take them to different local productions like The Queen and Seven Delan and whatever it is, for them to go see exactly what I'm talking about, that it's more than just what we see on screen, the acting. Behind the scenes, the jobs from a creative sector perspective. So Instagram Live, we do member product profiling. Many of you have been on our pages. Yes? Those of you who are members on our pages, where when you post something, we repost it. We repost it, but you also have an equal responsibility. If you post and you don't tag us, we don't know. But if you do post and you tag us, we will do something about it. But also when you come and join us, that's where we start. We say, this lady has got this product and they've just joined us. We will talk about it on different social media platforms that we feel are relevant to your product. We'll put you on our newsletter to tell our other 4,000 members that you've just joined us and here's your product. And can they consider having a look at it, or whatever the case may be. That's what we do for your product. Live streaming of events. We live stream all our events because in fact, in hindsight, the COVID pandemic helped us to reach other people that we would ordinarily not reach. In the past, we would have this kind of setup here in Gauteng, and that's it. And it would benefit those who are in the room. But with the evolution of social media and digital media marketing space, we are able to live stream our events. So even if you're sitting in Mpumalanga or Kimberley, you are able to connect and have access to the information that we're sharing. Knowing your audience, obviously, then you know where to place them, but I'll leave that topic to experts who are here in the room to share with us. Showcase what you are offering, obviously, and encourage engagements. You have to encourage engagements. These are some of our social media campaigns we've done. I mean, there's a lot. Chocolate Day, to you might think Chocolate Day. Who cares? Chocolate Day is about International Chocolate Day, they call it. We have many members in our midst who make chocolate. People like Darling Sweets, Nestle, Forest Fairies, the chocolatiers. And what we do, we go to radio, we go to television interviews, and we say we have local chocolate. So the next time you buy your loved one chocolate, or you just buy chocolate for yourself, look out for one that has a logo, Proudly SA logo, or made in South Africa. It doesn't have to be, because not all products on shelves will have the Proudly SA logo. Live on Instagram, Local Friday Chats, I spoke to you about that. Tea time. We look for all local teas that are under our umbrella, and we go and tell people that over and above Joko Tea, Rooibos, which is our international pride, Rooibos tea, and there's many other local teas that South Africans can support. Local legends, we celebrate anyone in any sector that creates jobs, whether it's let me make an example with the soccer player. So soccer player, or a cricket player or rugby player. It's about showcasing the value chain in that industry. So 90,000 spectators at a stadium. If you think about a derby, When you go to the stadium, before you even go in, first of all, there's ticketing that is being sold. Those are jobs. Somebody sells the tickets. When you get to the stadium, there's informal trade outside the stadiums. Those mamas that sell braai and provost rolls and hot dogs, and before you even get into the stadium, those are jobs. That mama that's sitting outside the stadium is supporting a family. And they rely on a soccer game such as a derby. So those are jobs that we can't take for granted. But as you walk into the stadium, we have a small entrepreneur in the room, a small anyana entrepreneur in the making. Where? There. Okay. The security, those are jobs. The music that happens in between the during the halftime game period, it's a lot. But I always pose this question. This is why we're talking to the sport fraternity. We say, can you imagine if the 90,000 spectators at a Pirates and Chiefs game, okay, maybe at a Pirates and Sundowns game, where all of them are wearing soccer jerseys that are manufactured in South Africa, you are definitely keeping those factories open. Surely we can't import soccer jerseys. Surely. Can you imagine? It's about the reality of keeping those factories open. All right, as I conclude, and I am concluding. Wine day. Those of you who have wine products, we have all sorts of things that we do for that sector where we invite you to a wine show. You don't pay anything for it. You just show up with your brand. And we give you access to market. It's about access to market. Access to market where some of you will know in July we had a wine expo, the very first one. We had about 30 winemakers and they were all sold out completely. To a point where on Saturday, which was the third day of the event, they literally had to go to, bottle stores around that they supply to go and, borrow some of the product to go back to the center to go sell it. That's how great that event was, not for us as Proudly South African, for winemakers who came to the show with one intention, to generate awareness about their product and ultimately to sell to people who walked into that. Behind the scenes, as Proudly SA, we made sure that we marketed the product as much as we possibly could to ensure that people walk in, Pela. So they hear on radio, they see on TV, they make a plan to take their friends and go to the expo to go buy, products that are owned by you. And my parting shot is a campaign or an advert that some of you have seen called Game Time. In the context of soccer that I talked about just now, football. This was on the back of, during COVID, we thought, how do we still remain relevant and use social media? So remember we were told not to move. We all got that family meeting, right? That told you don't move. And then when we all thought it was getting better, we were told still stay home. Don't go anywhere, but anyway. So we had to find ways to still remain relevant as Proudly SA in the absence of going out there and doing this and engaging with our audiences, and we created an advert that spoke to the reality at the time, and it's called Game Time. And Game Time speaks to the fact that COVID forced us to pause and rethink our loyalty to South African products. During COVID, when borders were closed and we didn't get anything coming into the country, we survived on local product. We ate, we dressed up. Okay, maybe we didn't. I dressed up at home to stay there and ask people that live with me to look at me. That I'm dressed up and I look good because I couldn't go anywhere. So we still woke up because we were all tired of flip-flops and shorts. You have to face beat to go nowhere. It's fine, But so the advert is about the fact that we had to pause and rethink our loyalty to local products. But it's the principle of a soccer game. Two teams are playing, obviously, and the one is lagging behind and the one is doing its thing. And then they go to the change room during halftime and the coach says, listen, we've got to go back in there and put our best foot forward with the intention to win the game. And we were saying after COVID, which is where we are now, it's game time, guys. It's game time for us to do our best to be the difference that we want to see in our respective businesses. So game time goes like this, and that's my last slide. May we play game time, please?
The second half is about to begin. We need to change the scoreboard. It's time for all of us to pause and rethink the game plan in order to save the future. I call on all of us to be game changers because greatness isn't reserved only for some people. By buying local, we're choosing to create jobs and sustain the ones we have. Time and time again, South Africans have taken destiny into their own hands, creating products that the rest of the world wanted to buy. See, the world remembers about us what we sometimes forget, but it's time for change. Let's all buy local. It's game time. Zanzi.
Local is lekker.
Your everyday decisions shape our future.
I'm very unhappy. That's so I threw it there. Your everyday decisions shape our future. I didn't say it. The king of Wakanda said it. Right? Yeah, we must listen to him. We didn't say it. But it's a very simple question, but it makes you think. Our everyday decisions shape our future. To help you win that prize for living, how are you going to live lekker locally this festive season? Before I call our next speaker on stage, is that if you think about it, living lekker locally is about the fact that we can all, in fact we do, not we can all, we all consume local product. We all consume product every day of the week. From dusk to dawn. So you wake up in the morning, the bed that you're sleeping on could be made locally, and we've got those manufacturers locally. The bedding you are using could be from Mr. Price or whatever the case may be, but it can be local. You go to your bathroom, your skincare products could be from Masodi. You know, but there's many others we know. There's many Portia M and all of those people. You know, what you use in your bathroom. Even the bathroom fittings. You can have a stunning bathroom, guys, from products from CTM. And then you go into your bedroom, you know, to look like these ladies here. Oh, and the gents, you know, lovely. With local clothes. You know, go through your wardrobe and decide to wear your sneakers and your whatever the case may be. Go to your kitchen to prepare an honorable member. I recognize you. I'll be back. Go to your kitchen to prepare lunch for the kids to go to school or breakfast or whatever. The products in your fridge. You know, even what you use to make your coffee. Nescafe and Cremora, I've just exposed how old I am. Cremora is not on top, it's not inside, it's on top. You know, sugar and all of that to make all of that. Then you drive to work. You could drive in your BMW 3 Series. You don't even know that it's made locally. You assume. Yes, X3. You assume that it was brought in. You know, it could be a Toyota Cross, or Navara, or whatever the case may be. You drive to work, you get to work, your laptops and your smartphones that you're using, the furniture and the oven, all of it can be local. Go back home to prepare dinner. The products are made locally. The flat screen that you use in your home to watch local content, flat screen is made locally. You're watching local content. You go back to work, to bed. Switch on your alarm system. Everything can be local if we just think about it that way. So I've given you an answer for that price. How are you going to live lekker locally? The first question, and our next speaker is Masodi, is Liz, who owns Masodi. We good, Liz, to go? Yeah? Owns Oh, am I sleeping on the job? Oh, in terms of a presentation. Askis, okay, 5 rand from me for sleeping on the job. Okay, it is Komozo, who will be talking us through, the power of social media and how he's benefited from Proudly South African in the many, many years that he's been with us. When were we born? Hey, that lady is. No, you must raise your hand. Okay, we all know. There's other people, it's load shedding. Guys, but you could have Googled also. I mean, you could have Googled. I'm forced to ask that lady because I saw her hand. She was like, So? Yeah, 21 years ago. And do you know who started us? By any chance? Lady? The gent, yes? I can't get your prize, my sister. That gentleman is sleeping on the job. One for the gram. There we go. Congratulations. So my brother, you're right, it was a president, but it was Madiba Galoku. Hey, Aish. Aish. Komoto, you're welcome. Komoto owns a company called Konal. He's got a radio voice. Did you hear Konal? It's like, what's his name? Wilson B. Ngosi. Hey, you must find a job in radio. There we go. Thank you. Do you want to use that one?
No.
Okay. Listen, do you see what he's done? He's bringing his own mic, branded.
Okay. Morning, everybody. How are you all doing today? Okay. Get December, boss. Thank you so much to the Proudly SA family for inviting me here today. It was an impromptu one, so I had to just jump quickly and come through, When they call, you jump, And one does that as well because of recognizing and acknowledging the help and contribution that they've put through into our brand, into getting it to where it is today. So yeah, briefly, I'm gonna take you through our business, Konadladla Pizzeria. On my side, by qualification, I'm actually an audio engineer. So, but I also like to look at myself as a multidisciplined creative. So my background is that after my studies, I interned at YFM and just did a short stint there. And then I worked in the broadcast industry thereafter. Well, I actually started in a call center with the vision to actually eventually move into the broadcast side of things, which fortunately also materialized within a short space of time. And thereafter, I became a studio manager. I used to run 2 studios at DSTV, where 2 studios. One was a chroma key studio, which is a green screen, and we produced numerous programs for Channel O, Vuzu, and all other different stations there. And it was quite a great time. I was quite young, met a whole lot of people, gained a whole lot of experience. And yeah, I then left that company in 2010 to venture into the whole entrepreneurial space. But interestingly then, in between that time, I think around 2009, I was at the time living with my brother in North Riding. And one particular evening, Friday, we decided to go out, and we, are searching for fast food, And we found a 24-hour pizza spot at It was at a place called Banbury Square. And when we got there, they were running a wood-fired oven, which one was unique because that's the original way pizza's done. And then secondly, we had the option to choose our own toppings and create our own pizza, which when you think that far back, there weren't a whole lot of brands or outlets that gave you that particular option. So I was firstly just taken aback by that, because having only been so used to a particular brand, you get acquired to that taste, nothing is ever different. So when you get there and you offered, the opportunity to create your own thing, I was just taken aback by that. I was like, whoa, okay, you know what? One, let me choose my own things, let me taste this thing, and it was quite good. And I was like, you know what? Immediately there was a light bulb moment to say, in the township, we don't have this particular thing. You know what I mean? How about I try it out? So the first thing I did then, I invited a couple of friends to also come through and try this particular meal. They were also, happy with how it tasted and, just the entire process, the value chain of how this thing was done and whatever. And I said, look, here's an opportunity for us to create something out of this. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. So I parked the idea. Mind you, at the time, then I'm still the studio manager. Left my job, and then an opportunity also came thereafter for me to go to Germany to build studios, TV studios with a particular company. So I went there for a short stint, came back, and then when I got back, unfortunately that deal sort of didn't pull through thereafter. And I decided to put as much effort now into my other business, which is still running to this day, which is called November 20th Entertainment. So there we just provide technical solutions, entertainment for corporates. We offer sound, lighting, staging. I DJ, I produce music. I work with an orchestra. I've got a team of friends of mine that I usually just go around, entertaining and, offering all these different solutions. And I think the importance for me there was that I tried to look at all of my passion points around entertainment and media and sound, and just try to see how I can merge all my different sort of, talents and aspirations around this thing to see how I can sustain this business. And I was fortunate, as I say, that outside of, when I think back to my first sort of gig that I got, it was for us to entertain at a function, and then thereafter came in and I said, hey, I could do photography. They gave me an opportunity, which then later led to also producing video content. Mind you, I qualified as a sound engineer. I didn't know much about sort of shooting and whatever, but having come from a broadcast industry, I could somehow connect the dots, And I'm saying all of this just to eventually show you how I'm going to lead up to how Konalala came up and how we use social media. So fast forward, we do so many events and corporate gigs, and then at some point I did a show where we used to cover sponsorship properties for a bank. Fortunately, I just lost a friend of mine who I used to produce that show with, Paul Shongwe, who was on Metro FM and SABC. So we had sort of put together and pitched together a show for Nedbank, and we used to cover all their sponsorship properties, from the Nedbank Cup, the Nedbank Golf, the Comrades Marathon. We would just, go around profiling that event and just sort of putting together short format videos that they could use across the different facets of the business. So in all of that, one is just gaining experience, You're always dealing with different people, different brands, etc. And this now, when all of this is happening, this pizza idea just keeps knocking at the back of my head. Start this thing. So I think it was around 2015 or so where I decided, you know what, let me actually just go online and teach myself how to make this product. So I go on YouTube, I see, the different ingredients and all of that, and then trialed it at home. Then the next part then was to get an oven. And then as I was searching, I came across guys that create mobile ovens. So I got that oven, which is quite heavy. It's gas operated. And the mission then started to, play around with flavors and burn a few things and, do a couple of tastings. And then the next chapter thereafter was to come up with the name. So at this time now, I'm back in Soweto. I'm living with my mom. My mom had cancer, so I had to go back and, assist where I can. So she eventually, fortunately, did beat the cancer. And we're sitting one day, and I'm thinking of creative ways and how to name this particular business. And then she's like, aye, man. So our home is a corner house. She's like, aye, man, why don't you call this thing Corner Dlala? I'm like, Corner Dlala, it's so generic, but it's actually quite catchy, Everybody can connect with that. So I'm like, okay, cool. Grab the name. And then in that particular setting again, I come up with the payoff line, which is Zwagala Sokaula, which basically means come through and let us all feast. So I went, registered the company, and then I think, even when I look at the company profile, we registered 2016. It was around November that I registered the business. So come up with the name. Product is still a bit shady, It's not the best of pizza, but, then because now I've got all the experience coming back from TV and having produced, so I could just rally all my different guys that I've worked with to help me with branding and whatever. So the guy that was actually assisting me, Charles, when we did the NetBank thing, he helped me create the logo and make it animated as well, So I've got all this footage that I'm sitting with, but I'm procrastinating now in terms of starting the business. And then one Friday evening, so I've got these things here. I think this came, oops, it happens to me as well. Sorry about that. Oh, sure. Okay. So one Friday evening, I think it is, so these are some of the, what do I call it, equipment pieces that I use whenever I, produce content and all of that. I'm sitting at home, I'm bored, it's a Friday, I'm like, let me put together a promo. So I've got this voice recorder of mine, which is a Zoom recorder. I decide to do a conversation between two people who are speaking about the launch of our outlet. And what I do is, after recording that voice, the second respondent, I pitch down the voice so that, it's not the same voice entirely. It can be as though two people are, having a conversation. And that then led to this first video that I'd like to show you guys. Video number 1 coming up.
Ore. Fere. Tjuna ngik sukseseri. Ona plan ne. So wala soka oli pizza bro.
Rano.
Ekhona dlala. Zwagala Sokaula. Ore.
Thank you. So this was around 2017 in May or something, I'm not sure. So after having put together this video, I decide to put it on my phone and send it through to my brother just to get a comment from him. Unknowingly, he decides to put it on social media. Boom, this thing just, catches on, and already there's a date attached to that thing. You know what I mean? People start sharing this thing, and, it just becomes a huge thing that, now I'm forced to launch this thing, you know what I mean? So, I think it was a necessary thing that had to happen eventually, So, it's on there. You can't turn around now, And the challenging thing was that this thing was in June, which is the coldest month, you know what I mean? So he put that thing up, and then had to now start running around to see how best can I leverage now on this thing in terms of getting other additional things for the launch. And I'm quite particular now, when I always put effort in every, which I think is also a lesson for all of us, that especially if we're small businesses and are gonna, start brands and whatever, it may seem minute and look, quite small, whatever thing that you're trying to do. But always try and, put as much effort as you can into it, because you never know how people are gonna gravitate to whatever you've put together. So, boom, this thing is on. And then, because I'm a creative again, more ideas come. So I decided to go and print boxes. So I was very intentional to say, okay, if I'm gonna start this little business and brand, I want to make sure that I autograph my work with excellence, I'm always just putting a stamp of approval around what this brand is all about, So I decided to go and find a company that can print boxes. So I found a company, printed the boxes, and then an idea came again to say, let me put together another promo, which is the second video that came up just before the launch, where I was just trying to create excitement again. So I'm sort of just running away now with this thing, And the second promo came up, which is video number 2.
Fini. Uzwile mos, ne? Amabox afigile.
Sezamaphika wefothaka.
Zwakala badi. Iza nopay, uze nekemche, ubize bonke abangani bakho sukawulanda. Zwakala sukawula.
So, again, in all of this, I think the one thing that I've always tried to maintain coming from a broadcast industry was to make sure that the branding is always there, the IPI, which, in TV you would call the IPI, which is like your logo on the top left or top right of your screen. I always made sure that whatever content I'm gonna push out there, I never miss the opportunity of plugging our logo in there, because, nowadays people can easily just grab your photo and use it for whatever purpose, but at least, your stamp is always just coming across there. So, yeah, the launch was quite successful. A very cold day, like I said. Successful is relative anyway, but what I really particularly enjoyed about our launch is that we were supposed to start, I think, at 6 p.m. And what I did is I went back and I pulled all my friends now to come and assist me. So I set up a stage at the corner of my house there, and I'd done some work previously with other guys who are in orchestra. So we set up an orchestra outside of my street. And had numerous entertainment in there. And then the pizzas we had to start. They weren't the best of pizzas. But the community came through, you know. We were delayed, they came through. You know, I've got other images. Unfortunately, I was going to plug them, but I see it's going to mess us up a bit there. They came through, they were in my house, in the kitchen, they were helping with the dough, you know. Others are sitting outside. So it just became a wholesome experience, you know, because everybody wanted to see this thing succeed, you know what I mean? So thereafter, this is 2017 June, we started, and then I think leading towards December, things were gradual. It was still a bit quiet, you know, a few posts here and there. But interestingly, now in January, you look at how within our community, there's different people that are quite popular and have a following, etc. So one lady came and took a picture of our box and posted it online. It caught on again, and it just trended out of nowhere. We were surprised that for January, it's supposed to be the most quietest of months. All of a sudden, there's an influx of people coming in we're not ready for, but you know, we just have to start running with this. So because now we're trending, you look at now the world of content producing. Usually when you're in media, you're gonna look at what's trending so that you can bring it to the fore within your content production and plan as such. It happened that one lady, Hlele, who was a content producer on one of the shows on Josie FM, she sent an inbox on my Facebook to say, hey, listen, I'm content producer so-and-so, and we'd like to feature you on our radio show because we see you guys are doing quite well, etc. I'm like, oh, okay. Happiness, first radio interview, will gladly come, and we'll bring pizzas for you guys as well and make them live for you there, which is what we did. We went there, and when we got there as well, I never miss an opportunity to take footage. So I brought in another person to assist me to record that experience of us being there, because I know the value of having content which you can always use, you know, not even immediately, but in the future. Because remember, sometimes when you plan your content, there are days where you're going to be short of content, but you can always what? Throw back. Or flashback Friday, you know? So we did the interview. They were also quite impressed with us. And whilst in that same vicinity and environment, it happens that Hlele says to me, you know what you guys have here on offer, I think would do really well with Proudly SA. And my mom works at Proudly SA. I think you must just try and contact them and see if you guys can marry the two things there together. We did that, and immediately after we did that, they were on the lead up to doing the Buy Local Summit in 2018, because now we're in the new year, in 2018. And again, here's an opportunity, access to market opportunity, like Makumalo says here, for us to come through and showcase offering. And again, similarly, whatever opportunity comes, you grab it with both hands. And we got there, we were given our stall, and I made sure again that, you know what, because this thing is a blank canvas, let me bring in all the experience I have from TV, from whatever, that I can just create a visually appealing space for us to leverage on. And we can throw back now to video number 3, just to show you guys what we did at Buy Local Summit 2018.
Walking around and there's a pizza in the expo. What? And Khomoso's bringing it to a township near you, baby. It's a franchise opportunity. You got to get on it. What I'm most proud of is when Khomoso talks about synergies and collaboration. That's where the real power is at. You got to get on this one, yo. Got to get yourself a slice of the action.
Forever.
Zwana zuka.
Yeah, so I think, as I say, whatever opportunity that comes at our fore, access to market that proudly has always sort of called us to say, hey, here's an opportunity, would you like to activate? We always grab it with both hands. We still have a very small team, and mind you guys, sometimes, when you've curated and put together a piece of content like that, it may look all perfect, but you don't see the behind the scenes. You guys don't know that on this particular day, so at the time we hadn't even got our food truck. I've got my bakkie and we load up the oven in the back and all other related stuff. And the car's full, the back seat, we're sitting. On our way back, we actually stopped by the cops to say, hey, my man, what's happening here, This is an overload situation going on here. You know what I mean? So there's always so many stories in between in the lead up to showcase the difficulties that, but you never focus on that. And because, again, as a small business, you wear a couple of hats. You just need to try and make sure that the little that you have, you use it to your advantage, from the cameras, lately with my cell phone, you find that the sort of content that one is able to produce using the cell phone is far better than the DSLR camera, which is the first one that I bought way back. Because remember, technology is continuously improving. And, the pixelation and all of that becomes even way better. So your phone lately, bringing it back again to the power of social media, is very crucial. Sometimes we get intimidated by big brands once they've put together campaigns and have, pieced together some good content that is on there, and we think that even us as small business, we can never, really create stuff for ourselves, So it's been quite an interesting journey of growth, learning, making mistakes and all of that. And since then, we've just always tried to leverage on opportunities that come through within our midst. Maybe there's a couple of other videos that I had just quickly pulled off, which we will play all at once before I close off towards the end. But I just want to also emphasize for you guys again, even more as small businesses and taking advantage of the platforms that are there for us to leverage on. Because like Makumalo said earlier, we don't pay to be on social media, and you never know sometimes how powerful one post that you put on there, will change your life, effectively. I know that to this day, my sort of biggest shortcoming, because we're still a small business and one is handling so many other things, is that I don't dissect the data, Because remember that the great thing now with social media as well is that whatever we post online, we're able to go back and see how it's performing, where the reach is, the different segments of society, when you're on LinkedIn nowadays, whenever you've posted something, it will even tell you the positions of authority that the different people that viewed your content are from, you know what I mean? So I know that as a growing business, it's something that one has to really pay attention to now, because even now with our business having absorbed and taken on delivery partners like your Uber Eats and etc., you find that even once you're on those platforms, there's data to constantly dissect. And the big businesses like your KFCs and whatever, they've got different teams who are able to, curate content and specials, etc., that is particularly dedicated to your performance on those platforms. So that's the great thing again with social media. It's constantly developing. and giving us access to data that we can utilize for our growth, you know what I mean? So I think, yeah, we always have to leverage on opportunities. So we're gonna play a couple of videos again that I've just put together in the past, where I think one of the videos will showcase again our performance, or what I usually do is, if we've performed or participated in one activity at a different event, be it with Proudly SA or any other venture, one always just tries to make sure that you grab, in between making the pizzas, guys. You're making a pizza and then you see a gap and you're like, okay, hey, I can, somehow I'm grateful for that, as I said, I'm a multidisciplinary creative. So sometimes I can see an idea in the smallest of thing and quickly think of a promo that I can put together. So most of the videos that we're gonna play are just, content that comes from that. And one of them that you'll see as well comes from our recent participation at Kaya FM as well, where what happened is I was in between driving to go and pick up stock. And then the drive time show has just started. And the guys in the intro are speaking about hosting a food competition. How much food can you eat at a go within a short space of time? So they're all deliberating. And then the host of the show, Caesar, says, okay, fine. I'll showcase you guys that I'm the best one out of all of you here. And how about we even invite some few listeners that can come in? And then the moment he was saying that, so I'm already picking up and I'm wired in. I'm like, okay, there might be an opportunity, there might be. And then immediately he's like, let's have pizza. I jumped, I'm driving, I'm like, okay, here's a perfect opportunity again for us to plug our brand. So immediately he says that, I just parked and I need to go out quickly and purchase, I think, bacon or something. And I'm like, if I leave now and I've switched off the car, I'm gonna lose out on what these guys are gonna say. And at the same time, the store is requiring that I bring back the stock. So immediately, I pull out my phone. Luckily, I've got a little bit of content that I have there where I was showcasing the pizza. And then what I usually do is, even in those short format videos that I do, towards the end, because we've got branded boxes, which showcase our logo, our website, our phone number, our social media, I always close it off with that, in similar fashion as we do with the videos here. So we just had a pizza come out of the oven, we were cutting it, and then leading up to that, I took that, went on Twitter quickly, I tagged Caesar and them, I'm like, hey, you know what, even better, we'll come and sponsor the pizzas there, and we'll come and make them live for you there. Switch off the car, I walk in. So what happens? The content producer, he sees this immediately quickly, and then he decides to call the shop, because that's the number that's on the shop. They call him, so the guys at the shop are unaware what's happening now. Who's this guy? What do they want? So I'm thinking, this thing didn't go through. I'm driving back. So as I park, one of my employees comes through quickly. He's like, hey, listen, there's a guy here from Kaya. They're like, you've just posted. I'm like, yeah, is it? Grab the phone and he's like, okay, listen, we'd like for you to come through and actually showcase this thing on the day. So, it was an opportunity which came through, but what did I do again further than that? I decided to create another promo that I can showcase on our social media to say, hey, our followers, we're gonna be on a particular radio show, look out for 1, 2, 3. And then you'll see one of the videos here come up shortly.
Nani, Kamala Utabita, we are in girls as on 3 Middle Land. Besi Shai Randula, Ekona Dala, Sati, Pizza Yakona, Imunandi Zwagala, Nauzos Bumnati. Dake!
Okay, I think you can just look for the video that's titled Kaya Drive there at the end, which, because I referenced to it just in terms of time. There we go. So as you can see, I never miss an opportunity to showcase our product, showcase our social media and all of that in every little piece of content that I put together. You know what I mean? I'm showcasing that we're going to be at Kai FM, etc., but I'm always just plugging our brand as well, you know. Recently, again, we actually just won an award. I forgot to introduce myself to say that, hey, we're the award-winning business. So recently, Santam, the insurance company, awarded us as one of the most loved businesses for 2022. And I think some 2 weeks back, I went to go pick up the prize. And I think what was even more meaningful about it is that one of our supporters actually nominated us. And out of numerous entries we came through, we won 20,000 Rand, etc., etc. And it worked out so well because we're in the middle of growth, you know, moving into our new shop, you know. So I think because we cut out for time, there's just been so many things that have happened within all of this, and the power of social media has always been central to our growth. So leverage on it and just try and make use of it, you know. The last thing that I'm really proud of and so grateful of, just to put a spotlight again on Proudly SA and them having been central also to our growth and supporting local small businesses. So just after the pandemic, the lootings actually, they had invited me to be on a talk to see how the lootings had impacted us. Obviously they had different speakers on board. And one of the speakers there was Mr. Mike Nkuna, Dr. Mike Nkuna, who actually owns a couple of malls, one of them being Protea Glen Mall, which is not too far off from our flagship store. So I forgot to mention again that having started as a home business, in 2020 we moved into our local shopping center to start off our flagship store, which fortunately was not affected during the lootings. But with the lootings, we were on that call. We had a WhatsApp thing that we were all on. And after the call, I'm like, hey, you know what? I need to find a way to speak to this gentleman so that I can find an opportunity to move into their shopping center. And in this year, May, as I was walking within that shopping center, I spotted a shop that was vacant. And I decided, I was scared, guys. I'm like, hey, how do you call this person, you know? But I was like, I can't miss out on this, you know? Called him quickly, and he was like, oh, okay, I remember you. Listen, go inside the mall, look for the center management, and look for a lady called Carol, and then you can take it from there. Negotiations started from there. It was difficult for me to get in there because they've already got other pizza outlets. But again, being on the spot and thinking quickly and sort of being wired for opportunity, I came up with this thing that we'll do shawarmas as well, because I've always wanted to do a shawarma brand as well, because it's almost linked to pizza toppings as well. And that's how we were able to get in there. So negotiations started from around April, and in November we were supposed to start on the 1st, but we started on the 14th of November this year. So today, it's actually become full circle, which is the 14th, Makumalo. We've just completed a full month at our new shop. We're yet to actually do a launch. We're actually having discussions. We might do the launch on Friday, but just on Monday, in between selling shawarmas and assisting the guys, I put together this promo, which you're the first ones to see. I'm yet to actually even put a voice to it. I've been thinking about it, but it's called, if you look for the last video, it's called Z something. It's the last video within that list. This is it. All this content has been shot within this month from the new shop.
Zwangana suka o.
So again, I never miss an opportunity. We are open during load shedding. Okay, thank you so much, guys. I wish you all the best of luck with all your businesses. And once again, thank you to Proudly SA as well for the platform.
Thank you so much, Khomotso. Remind me next time, team, you never give a mic to Khomotso. But guys, I mean, you know, don't spoil a good thing, right? This is it. We couldn't have asked one of our best to showcase. He's that guy, ne? It feels like he was told he's not deserving of anything, and he was like, I am coming for everything. Ne? It really just, it's so hard. In fact, I'm getting goosies. It just shows you that he's a guy who has no expectation. No, the world doesn't owe him anything, but he is going to work twice as hard to claim his space because he can and because he's good at what he does. I want to highlight a few things. Your brother, hey, you don't choose family, ne? You shared with him in secret with the date saying, I think of launch. The guy shares with the whole world. And then now you're under pressure to launch. But in hindsight, look at you. You know what I mean? Look at me, like a hand clap to your brother. He's that guy who obviously wants you to succeed. By the way, for those of you who are confused and who don't know what Dladla means, it's a home. So Kana Dladla is a home around the corner, kind of vibe. I'm talking to you, say. I suspect you were, there was load shedding. You were confused, okay? Alrighty, and then the looting situation, it just proves that proudly we walk the talk, guys. So we are an enabler, and we hook you up. But it also proves the importance of when we do call or when we do email and invite you, just simply show up. Because if you didn't show up at that seminar shortly after the looting, you would not have met Mr. Dr. Nguna, who owns the shopping centers that you now have opened a shop in the last month. If you had not been at that opportunity, you wouldn't have had the second shop. I want to clap for Proudly SA. I know. You know, this is really the difference. This is the difference we wanna make. This is a success story, and I'm hoping there's much more. Guys, let me tell you a principle. Me, I praise myself. Life is too short, guys. I don't want to die tomorrow and then I'm a horrible ancestor. I've got issues because that lady at the conference forgot to clap for me, where I could have clapped for myself. I'm not going down that route. Me, if I feel I am the girl, I tell myself and those who care to listen, I can't be a bitter ancestor. You know. All right, my lady, I slept on the job. You raised your hand 5 years ago. What was your question or comment?
No, my comment was, after taking the bath, you forgot to wash your basins and to spray the showers locally.
Those handy endies. And Kimberly Clark is our, yes, you are right. So you clean after you make the mess. I agree. Yeah, I need this kind of audience who are wide awake when I sleep on the job. Living like a locally. We're still going there. We have a prize to give. Alrighty, so our next speaker is Masodi. She's petite. Listen, they say diamonds come in. Dynamites. Oh yeah, diamonds. You're now way. And it's only 10 o'clock. Anyway, dynamites come in small packages. She's also going for everything. Liz, please come join us. And she comes prepared, camera and everything. She's... Your battery's dead, but you've been busy. You've been busy. No, we've been capturing you. We are about to capture you.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. I'm going to need you to wake up for a bit. I feel like you're sleeping. My name is Liz Litsole, and I'm the founder of Masodi Organics. I have a phone in my hand simply because Gudwano said, prepare presentation. I said, nope, I don't have the time. But I also feel like I can put together a more natural, more honest conversation when I don't have a guided presentation. I've done that a lot in corporate, and I feel like it's taken away the authenticity from me. So I'm here to talk about two things. One is my business, Masodi Organics, but most importantly is number two, social media. And my assumption would be that most of you, if not all of you in this room, are entrepreneurs who are looking to get some helpful tips about how to optimize your social media to grow your businesses, to grow your sales, and to become successful brands. And before I get into Masodi Organics, I think let me cut to the chase about the stuff that you're most likely interested in, which is social media. And the first thing I wanted to talk about was why social media is important. And I've got 4 points here about why social media for me is important. And the first one is documenting the journey, or documenting the process, or storytelling. And when Khomoto was talking about his brand, you could see how well he had sort of like done that storytelling, story documenting, from rags to riches, almost like kind of story. I think that is so important for parts of the stakeholders that we're trying to target with our social medias. The second thing would be obviously sharing the product offering or service offering. Whatever it is that you are creating or you are building or you are selling, you want other people to know about. And I think social media in today's world, where other mainstream media channels are so expensive, has allowed many small businesses the opportunity to thrive from a sales and marketing perspective. The third thing would be communicating the brand fiber ethos, or the feelings of a brand. How people know about Masodi Organics, for example, is associated to a feeling, is associated to an emotion, it's associated to a belief about who we are, our values. And I think what better way other than social media to actually communicate that? And lastly, it's to build a community, and not just for community's sake, but to also influence trends, or influence the culture, or influence consumption patterns. And I'm gonna go into each of these points very briefly. So the first one on documenting the journey for me, an example of this was I started Masodi Organics. Normally I say I started it like I started a cup of tea. It was very careless, it was very abrupt in nature. I just woke up and I said, that's it, I'm starting it. The first step I took was to start a social media account. That's the very first thing I did. And I went to my personal Instagram and I told people, follow this account because something is coming in a month's time. I went to Twitter, I did the same. I went to Facebook, I did the same. That way I was locked in, because there's an element of shame in all of us. You don't want people to think you said I'm going to do something and not follow through. So there was that element of shame. I tapped into that for myself. And I said, guys, in a month's time, something is dropping. Didn't have a product, didn't have anything. And then what I then did was to document the story. How did I document the story? I walk around with my camera. The first thing I did when I came into the room, I put my tripod, I put my camera around because I'm documenting the journey. When you look at some of those people that we look up to, your Serena Williams and even your rappers, and you see videos of them when they were like 6, right? And you're like, how did you know that you were going to be great? I don't think they did. I'm pretty sure there's a couple of camera footage, video footages and stuff that's just sitting in archives, right? But what matters is that you're sharing the journey. Whether you believe you've made it or not, it doesn't matter. It's important to document the journey because people need to see how far you've come to believe in your vision, but also people need to see the consistency at which you're able to execute. And at times, people need to see your ability to pivot when things are redundant. The second part was sharing the product or service offering. I'm going to urge you, I think I do that really well. And I still manage Masodi Organics Instagram account. It has 18,000 followers to date. We started 4 years ago. I started it myself, ran it all the way through to today. Only yesterday I put out a post because I'm tired. I said, guys, we're hiring students for social media management and content creation. But it's not something I imagine I'm going to run away from. It's something that I enjoy. It's something I believe is valuable as the founder of a business, and quite frankly, as the face of Masodi Organics, for people to still see the face and see me use the product. It gives them the confidence. If you're consuming this product, I think I can also consume the product. If you trust it, I should also trust it. So I urge you to look at @Masodi_organics for the next part that I'm going to be talking about, @Masodi_organics. And this is about sharing the product or service offering. Sharing the product or service offering is illustrating the best of what you do. How do you do that? If you're in beauty and wellness, like Masodi Organics, I need to be seen taking a shower. And it used to be a very uncomfortable conversation at the office, guys. I need to take a shower. I need to put on a mask on my underarms, because we've got things like hyperpigmentation mask. We've got things like if you have body acne, I need to be seen applying product on my body for acne. These are some of the intimate spaces that you don't want other people to see. But there's actually creative ways to go around your camera angles. You're zooming in, you're zooming out to ensure that actually people are still able to see the best of your product illustration or the best of your product use cases without feeling like you're sort of like selling your soul. And I think that is so important. For people who are normally in service businesses, this is the tricky part. Because in service, if I'm a consulting organization and I do thinking work, how do I show that, right? It's like, or maybe you're in sort of like a business-to-business kind of model, where I sell bricks to large organizations or to construction firms. How do I do that? The documenting of the journey would be more important in that instance for yourself. Why? Because other businesses care more about your organization and how structured you are and how trusted you are than they care about the fact that you look pretty or your skin looks good or you are fun or whatever. If you are a thinking organization that is a service business, are you in auditing? Are you an illustrator or whatever it is? Oftentimes it's valuable. Content in that instance looks like showing the journey of how you engage with clients. And sometimes you see them with those short videos of people sitting in a boardroom just looking like they're talking, and sometimes they chuck in a giggle. It says, we're serious about our work, but at the same time, we're lighthearted about some aspects because we see you as humans as much as we see you as your clients. So it's absolutely important in the segment where you have to tailor your content or your product offering or the product use cases to the audience or to your target market. And the third one is communicating the brand fiber. We used to laugh at Masodi, so we had to bring in a consultant for this because I was like, I feel like Masodi is everything and everyone. We don't have an identity, we don't have a feel. And the lady actually said, you have a feel, you just didn't know how to articulate it. You are actually a friendly lady, you are a friendly guy. People want to feel like you're their friend, but at the same time, you know a little bit of something about a little bit of everything. You're not necessarily the deep expert about skincare or deep expert about hair care, or I'm not going to reprimand you for doing X, Y, Z about your hair. But what I can do and say, hey man, I also like hair, or hey man, I also like skin. Come through and let's walk you through the journey. You don't like this? Fine, toss it out. You like it? Stick with it. We'll give you a discount. So that was the kind of tone and voice I started realizing we have. It comes through when we're taking content, when we're speaking to audiences. It comes through in our marketing. It comes through in some of the little cute videos that we do at the office, because that is the kind of fiber or ethos or values that we want to illustrate as a business, but it's also something we want people to feel when they engage brand Masodi Organics. And then lastly, building a community and having influence. I've learned this aspect of social media from some of the best influencers in the game. If you think internationally, you can even think the Kardashians. If you think locally, you can think, there's a guy, my new favorite content creator, Sabelo the Creator. He's this guy who cleans his room, and he does these weird things where he just like looks after himself, clean room, clean body, eats well, kind of like lifestyle influencer. And the reason I think that is important is because the moment you get yourself to a position where you have built a community that believes in what you do, that has bought into your Kool-Aid, that says, no, this guy, if we trust him, if he says this product works, it works, it means you have the power to influence consumption. It means if now I'm a pizza person, I can actually do a Sunday pizza. We can do Sunday pizza days, where it's like on Sundays we have pizza. What have you done? You have influenced consumption. You've influenced consumption to do two things. One is, I know that for my planning, supply chain or behind the scenes, for my planning, well, we sort of like pulled all the noise from during the week, we've thrown it into Sunday. It makes your operations easy as a small business with constrained resources and a constrained team. But two, it means that it's easy to forecast. If we want to push pineapple pizza base or whatever variant, what does that mean? It means that I can just say, the other material or tomatoes have gone up in price, let's just push this one. You get a guy like Sabelo, he says the pineapple is my new favorite thing, and everyone goes for that. In very small ways, you are able to influence some of your operational, some of your financial, some of your back office kind of decision-making things, and some of the optimizing sort of like levers behind the scenes through just sales and marketing. It's not just only for, people to buy the stuff or people to, what matters in the season. For example, Masodi Organics, now it's Christmas season. What are we trying to push? Gifting, right? What do? We go to some of the gifting shops and we say, guys, let's put these gifts on promos, but how do we get people to know about it? Let's create a gift hamper and show ourselves unboxing a gift. If someone sees that on social media, they've been wanting to buy a loved one a gift. If you're a man, you've got your beard oils, you've got your beard products, we've got your butters and everything for men. And then if you're maybe a woman and you like something a bit more interesting, you've got candles, you've got bath bombs, you've got bath salts, you've got butters and whatever. You create that variety, but creating an element of reality. Can I send a PR drop to a couple of people? And influence doesn't necessarily mean popular. When I say influencers, I know some people tend to think, the social media popular people. An influencer could be someone in corporate. I do a lot of this in corporate. I will identify a key player at Bank X, and I will say, hey, dude, we're doing some corporate gifting or Christmas gifting. I just want to send you a hamper, give me your address. That is how you leverage influence through, influence consumption through marketing. I send them the hamper, and before you know it, sorry, we're doing a team function for year-end closing function for our PAs. This actually is a true story. We need 50 hampers of XXX. And that's, I've influenced consumption. I've told the team, these materials have been sitting on the floor for quite some time. We need to figure out how we push them out, because they're going to expire soon. And you push them out like that, through gifting, through marketing initiatives that are creative but that also feel real. The second thing I want to talk about is key ingredients for successful social media. I know that sometimes it feels like, social media is a lot, and that's true, it is a lot. The fact that I have to walk in and already I've pushed out 2 reels on our thingy, tagging Proudly SA, it's a lot, right? And it also means that sometimes it steals your ability to actually unplug and absorb the moment. And I'm gonna tackle some of those things that I think might be helpful. The first thing to get a successful social media, and success doesn't necessarily mean 1 million followers, it just means effective. The audience that I'm curating this content for sees the content, engages the content, and actually takes some action from the content. Even with an account from 500 people, you can actually do that. The first thing is social media platform fit. I see this so many times where, someone runs a beauty and wellness business and they're selling, a hyperpigmentation mask like the one we have at Masodi on LinkedIn. And of course, that's likely an audience. There's people on LinkedIn who will probably have hyperpigmentation issues or acne issues that they want to tackle. But there's a way to sell on LinkedIn that will work on LinkedIn. And so when I'm just thinking about the different platforms, LinkedIn is more for if you're doing business to business kind of business. If you want to sell to other businesses, it's a great platform. Masodi Organics, for example, we see ourselves more as a business to consumer business, but I actually still post on LinkedIn. What do I post? The journey. Why? Because a possible funder could be on LinkedIn. I'm also selling to funders, right? I'm selling to funders, I'm selling to retailers, I'm selling to gifting shop owners, I'm selling to even heads of heads of departments in different organizations, because I want them to get into the gifting offering that we have. But there's a way, the content that I create on Twitter or on Instagram, I don't necessarily have to push on LinkedIn, simply because LinkedIn is more of a professional setting. And the crazy thing about LinkedIn, in my view, is that if I like something, it tells everyone voluntarily, Liz Lizolo has liked this. And oftentimes then people, ordinarily, who want to like your thing sometimes they'll see they want to like it, but they're like, yo, I can't have other people know that I am liking or I am endorsing this thing. So there's that element of shame. When you share on LinkedIn, share your journey, share sort of like your milestones. Are we opening a new shop? Throw it on LinkedIn, and someone might say, hey, if you need a funder, let me know. Are you looking for franchises on a broader level? Yeah, throw it on LinkedIn. Why? Because a couple of people who have the kind of money might be sitting there actually working in corporate, senior management, and just looking to invest in a couple of things. So those are the kinds, and you also do then have other types of customers who say, I'm not exactly a customer for your product, but I have a friend who works at Clicks and who might want to look into listing your product. These kinds of things are important, especially when you're looking to be serious, because if you post something and someone says, hey, I have a friend to connect you with, and you don't take that forward, then you've sort of like lost credibility in that moment. The second platform I'm going to talk about is Instagram. Instagram I find to be more accepting and more laid back and more forgiving than many platforms I've seen. And one of the things that I like about Instagram is that it's a very sort of like photographic, videographic kind of platform. You don't feel the pressure to create videos if you don't want to create videos, because you can always share pictures. But now it's encouraging the real culture of creating videos, but it's done it in a way that is so easy. Reels, you can just take 3 little videos, edit, cut and paste here and there. Of course, it's probably easy because I do it a lot in my days, but it's one of those things that does not seek perfection from you. So wherever you are, you can actually start small, start shady. If you go back to Masudi Organics' social media page from when we started, it's absolutely cringeworthy. I don't cut it out because I want to be able to track how far we've come and how much we're learning and how much we're developing. But I think social media, like Instagram, is more forgiving, is more open to different things. You can share your journey, you can share the product, you can share pretty much everything. Twitter, I think Makhumalo said it well. Me, I'm scared of Twitter. Let me just tell I'm scared of Twitter because, Twitter feels like it's a space that is more activism focused, and it's got its place in society. And we actually also enjoy a lot of engagement and a lot of support from Twitter. But what I would say on Twitter is that be straight to the point. Don't be too extra about things. If you're sharing a product, be factual. This product does 1, 2, 3. This is where you can buy it. Interestingly, they don't respond as well as I would have thought they do to video content. So focus on picture content on Twitter. Twitter is like, you have 3 seconds of my time. I don't have more than that to give to you. Within 3 seconds, I need to see, scroll, and move. And if you give people what they're looking for, you'll be surprised at how far a tweet can go. It's the easiest place, in my view, to be viral. Probably now after TikTok. And then you have TikTok, which is the new thing that I am struggling with. TikTok is one of those interesting platforms that I think levels the playing field. Anyone can go on TikTok today and potentially go viral and potentially go big within 24 hours. Anything can happen. So the fact that we've built our TikTok account probably for 6 months now, we're very late on that platform, and we're close to 1,000 followers. For me, looks like an underachievement, a huge one, simply because I've seen other accounts within 3 months, people are already moving huge numbers. What am I saying? I'm saying if you're looking for a lotto that is like probably more likely you can win, TikTok is the platform to go. People on TikTok just go on there and say something stupid in one line and this thing blows up. Not only does it blow up, but it moves to every other platform as well. I've never seen tweet move that much to Instagram and LinkedIn, but TikTok videos you find across the board. So if you can actually do well on TikTok, I suspect you can also do well on every other platform. That's that on getting on the right platform to make sure you're marketing to the right people. The second thing is content creation, which is, I guess, for most people, something that is more daunting. Firstly, you don't have to create your own content. Now I was just sharing that I'm tired of creating content, and I'm looking for who? Students. Why? I'm a small business. We cannot afford to pay, a huge, big professional people to come and create our own content. I've invested in some cameras, some lights myself. So I have a mini studio because we're in the beauty space. We need to be able to showcase the best of what we offer. And these things can vary in price. From probably 20,000 over time, you can get a fully set up studio that is not going to be, out of this world, but it's going to get the job done and give you absolute good credibility. But then the second thing is you can just hire a student and say, hey, here's an iPhone. You were talking about the quality of phones these days. Incredible. Play around with the lighting, and the lighting could be something as simple as natural lighting. When we take pictures outside, I'm that person who says, wait, where's the sun, right? Because that lighting influences the quality. Small, free ways of making sure that you capture the right content with the right quality to communicate what you offer. The worst thing you want to do is to say, hey, we're a quality brand, and then you take a video and it's just terrible. It's I can't see the quality. You need to let people see the quality in the way you communicate. Another option, if you don't want to hire, it can even be part-time, but another option if you don't want to hire a content creator could be so there's this guy, I forgot his name, but there's these videographers. If you look at mostly influencers on social media, when they take videos or when they take pictures these days, even models, they always tag people, makeup artist, dress by this one. Go there and say, hey guy, I'm in this business. I'm looking for a content creator. We just want to take a couple of videos and a couple of pictures. And if you're creative enough about how you take the pictures and the videos, you can edit and cut and crop them and mute them as you want and just recycle them throughout the year. And what am I saying? I'm saying in the video, don't take a video where you're talking, hey guys, my name is Liz. Take a video where you're showing the journey, or someone is showering. Today, someone is washing their hair. If you have enough of those videos, you can just crop, slow the video down so it feels a bit longer. Post, today we're washing our hair, but you can always recycle. Or today we're focusing on deep conditioning for dry hair. Or tomorrow we're focusing on protein treatment for damaged and breaking hair. That allows you to actually stretch your money. What could have ordinarily felt like it's expensive, if the guy said 10,000 rand for one full day shoot, if you divide that by 12, it becomes a different kind of amount altogether, and it contextualizes how you're able to get quality for lesser if you think interestingly or creatively about it. The other thing is data and analytics. I know a lot of people don't like this, and this doesn't have to be as intimidating and as crazy as it used to sound back in the day. These days, every platform has a data and analytics kind of tool guys, it's just who's your audience? 40% men, 60% women. What time are people mostly active on your social media profile? Even on Instagram, you can see this information for free. 6 to 7 in the morning, and then 8 to 10 p.m. in the evening. Those kinds of things are so important, and I know sometimes we're lazy to engage it and look through the data, but it's important because sometimes we create amazing videos, and I'm so happy when we post, and it's no one actually cares, or no one sees it. It's all that effort, or all that money, or all that resource just went nowhere, because we posted on a Saturday when everyone is at groove. So it's also about knowing your audience and what your audience is doing when. When are people likely to buy? We run an online store, masodiorganics.com. And normally we also have analytics that are linked to our social media, linked to our analytics tool. We use Google Analytics for those who are interested. I'm able to know when people are most likely to buy on my online store. So if I want to do an advertisement on social media and boost it with a social media ad, I'm I know that normally, for some reason on Tuesday mornings, people are likely to buy. Why? Maybe because people are at work and they're already getting bored, and it's okay, the Monday guilt is cleared up from the weekend, and now I'm just ready to, but I look at the data and I arrange my social media engagements accordingly. And then there is propagation tools. When I came into the room, the first thing I said was, please look at my Instagram profile at Masodi_organics. And this was the first way, or the first tool or approach to propagating, the Masodi Organics platform. Every opportunity you get to direct people to your social media or to your newsletter, direct them there. Why? If you didn't buy into the Masodi Organics Cool 8 today, every day I'm going to try and sell you the idea for the next however long you're subscribed onto the newsletter, or for the next however long you follow us on social media, and you just actually might buy in after some time. Other ways to propagate your social media is through QR codes. There's a platform called QR codes. If you just go to Google and you say how to create a QR code, you can create a QR code and link it to any link. For example, there's a QR code for Masodi Organics online store. So you create the QR code, and then it says put in the link where you want people to be directed to when they scan this QR code. I have one that has the link for Masodi Organics Instagram profile. I have one that links to Masodi Organics' newsletter sign up. I have one that links to Masodi Organics' online store. Why is that important? People don't want to labor to follow you, or people don't want to labor to be able to reach. It's like, listen, you're asking, I'm sitting here, I'm like, I didn't need your products. You're trying to convince me to buy your products. So make it easy for me to suss you out. Make it easy for me to reach you or to buy. So QR codes are a very new, interesting way. Had I listened to Gudwano, if she said, do you want a presentation? I would have probably put the QR code up there instead of my picture, because you can't do anything with my picture. And what would you have done? You would have just scanned with your phone, immediately gone to Masodi Organics' Instagram profile, followed. You would have scanned on your phone, gone to Masodi Organics online store, seen the full range of the beard care products, the skin care products, the hair care products, without me trying to convince you about something you cannot conceptualize or imagine in your minds. The other way to propagate your social media platforms is hashtags. So normally when I post anything, I will always start with hashtag Masodi, hashtag Masodi Organics. Why? I want to be able to keep an alternative record trail to the brand outside of Masodi Organics, the handle. Sometimes handles get hacked and they belong to someone else. Some guy who's sitting in some other country somewhere hijacks your account. This has happened to a couple of local brands, and then suddenly the content doesn't belong to you anymore. And sometimes, or oftentimes, they actually don't delete the content. They continue faking being you. What does that mean? At least people who are looking for Masodi can still come at Masodi Organics hashtag and still find something that's related to us. Cool. Whew, is that a lot? Other things that I think are helpful are in-app functionalities. Every social media app has tools and functionalities that are geared at helping you become a better content creator. What do I mean? Instagram has created Reels to be able to help you curate your video content better and more optimally. The Reels can vary from something as small as like 5 seconds to 1 minute. It makes life so much easier. So for people who feel like, I'm intimidated, I promise you, all you need to do is to get through the first week of trying to figure it out, and it's the hardest. But once you've cracked the first week, then you can keep going, and then it gets better. And if you feel like you don't have the muscle for that because as a business owner or as an entrepreneur, you have many other burdens to carry, you can find someone who can actually use those tools. Things like filters. Sometimes you have like funny ear filters that can just actually make people laugh and make you go viral. When you look at like the kind of videos Khomoza was talking about for his pizza store, they were so fun, they were catchy, they were like, oh man, I feel like this is so cool and fun and chilled, right? People are looking for that kind of thing. There's so much heaviness around. Those kinds of things, I don't have to turn into a clown myself. There's tools to sort of like take Liz and package her as a clown, and people laugh and people go to the link and hey, I'm making sales, right? So use some of those tools. One thing I've learned about running the Masodi Organics Instagram account and content creation is the power of the human face and human voice. And I'll talk about what I mean there. When we started, we were all about, make the creams flow out of the jars and our products are spinning. And these were quality videos. And once that didn't catch, we're like, why don't people like our stuff? Like when I look at the analytics, no one has gone onto the online store, no one liked, no one shared, I'm like, this is pretty cool though. And then we said, okay, fine. Every time I do an Instagram live, and Makumalo talked about Instagram lives and collaborations, every time I did an Instagram live or a collaboration, people actually engaged. And I said, I think people actually, no matter how much I'm trying to run away from being the face of this business, people want to see other people. People want to engage real humans. So we said, okay, fine, we're going to start creating content. I'm going to be in there, and then we play music. Yeah, the engagement went up a little, but not as impressive. And what I've learned is people want you to talk to them as you are making that content. And there's two ways you can do this. One is you can do your washing. If you can't shower and talk at the same time. That's not practical. What I've done is I mute whatever sound from the background, or maybe I let the shower water sound still come through, and then I just do a voice over that. Hey guys, today I'm showing you how I'm doing a sensitive skincare body routine, and what I'm starting with is a body scrub. It's going to exfoliate my dead skin cells. It's already also there, right? The content is already there. And then when I'm done, I'm going to sort of like, apply my mask or whatever, and then body serum, and then when I'm done, I'll come in with a butter. This butter, I love it so much, guys, because it does 1, 2, 3. People want to hear a voice, and people want to see a face. And I think it's such a pity, because this is the most exhausting or tolling or demanding kind of content to take. But it's so rewarding if you can do that, because people have a face they trust, and before you know it, people start taking you as the expert for whatever field you're creating content for. And then there's social media ads. I don't know how many people actually run social media ads, but I think these things are so important for two things. One is it exposes, you actually buy an audience, right? It exposes your content to people who ordinarily would not have been exposed to. I know that, if I can get people in all the corporate offices to buy Masori Organics, I would, because they are my target market. But most of them are actually not on social media or not on Instagram like this. So it's like, how do I reach them? If they are on Instagram, they have that account that is private, so they don't even follow you, and they have like 7 pictures or something. They're not as invested. They will come in once a week. They will like something, and listen, they're very decisive. When they come onto their account, sorry, I like this mask, how can I buy? Shop. You'll never see them again. They're not here to be, go Masori. They're not there, right? So how do I reach this person? Social media ads helps you tailor your segment for who sees this content. What are they interested in? I want them to be interested in pets, in eating healthy, I list the thing. What age are they? What gender are they? And that allows me to tap into an audience that ordinarily would not follow me, but I know they are of value to me. But the second thing it also allows me to do is to have broader reach. For example, sometimes you'll run an ad and it says, this ad has had like 27,000 impressions. And I'm like, ordinarily, we don't push those kinds of numbers. But because of the ad, whether people engaged or not, I've planted the seed. Another tool was partnerships or influencers. Partnerships are so important. Currently, Masori Organics is doing a partnership with one of your other Proudly SA members, Your Coco, the ice cream, the vegan ice cream. What did we do? Your Coco does vegan ice cream. We used to operate from the same business park. She reaches out, she says it's festive season. I think let's do something around scoops. She calls them scoops. So she says, let's do scoops and bath soak. We said, okay, fine, we're gonna put in 2 tubs of your ice cream in this hamper. We're gonna put in my candle, we're gonna put in my bath salt, and we're gonna put in a special colored bath bomb for festive season. And what does that do? It allows me to tap into her audience, because when she's posting on her social media about Masori Organics and the hamper, and I'm posting on my social media about, Your Coco and the hamper, Masori Organics people are beauty and wellness fanatics. Suddenly they're like, there's a vegan ice cream, and so many people I know these days are lactose intolerant. And then when she posts to her health fanatics, they're like, there's that sort of like beauty and wellness brand. It's a nice way to cross-pollinate audiences. It's a nice way to create an exciting kind of thing, but it's also a nice way to give people something more holistic, which is what actually retailers do. Oftentimes I say, I don't know if I wasn't the founder of Masori Organics, if I would buy on our online store. Typically, people want to be able to buy Masori Organics, pick up something else, a chocolate and whatever. It's also a nice opportunity to have an interesting, realistic basket that people can actually enjoy. Please let me know when I'm going over time. I have quite a bit of content. Am I going over time? Okay, I'm just going to wrap up then. Call to action when you're doing your social media. This feels like a bit of like a class. But call to action is very important when you do your social media. One of the biggest frustrations when we're on social media is, hey, look at this whipped shea butter. It's so amazing. And you don't tell people where to buy it, how to buy it, how much. It's like we have to dig out for so much information from you. Or please DM for prices. That kind of stuff actually creates what we call attrition rate. At every step of communication, you have an opportunity to lose a sale or a potential for sale. What you do, try to follow what we call the top-down communication principle. I normally introduce the product name and say, this is the whip shea butter. Very quickly, I talk about the issues it addresses, because people want to know, is this for me or is it not for me? Okay, this one tackles dry skin, suitable for sensitive skin, also long-lasting, 48-hour long-lasting moisture. And when you're done, you can then talk about the details, ingredients, what kind of ingredients that it have. Because at every level, there's people who say, who are going to want to know more. And some people actually are like, the first line, I'm good, I already know, right? So give people all the information. When you're done, where can you buy it? Write your online store, write the associated retailers. And then when you're done, talk about delivery. We deliver nationwide, because sometimes people just write online store, but people need to hear that we deliver everywhere in the country. Or people don't want to go to your online store and only at checkout, they realize, oh no, you only deliver in Johannesburg, right? It's annoying. So give people all the information they need, and then when you're done, come in with the hashtags and so on. And then lastly, there is some key risks to consider. How to prove yourself against bullies and negative energy and addiction, right? The risk of social media or running a successful social media means that you're always on. Being always on means that when people have an issue, you can text me at 2 a.m., I will respond. If there's an issue, I can sort it out. If there's a question, I can answer you, because oftentimes people ask a question when they are just ready to buy. I can actually even sometimes see this person have these products in their cart and they're asking, well, is this thing suitable for people with sensitive skin? And the reason you need to be always on is because sometimes your response is what stands between that person checking out or otherwise. And sometimes they leave, maybe it was their first time on the online store, they will not be coming back, right? So it's important to always be on, but the risk with that is that you can become social media addicted. I know I'm one. Sometimes we'll be at home at a family gathering and I'm just there. There's nothing on social media, but my instinct when I get into my phone, I go into LinkedIn, I exit, I go into Instagram. And then 2 seconds later, you go into Instagram again. And that actually steals so much of life out of us. And how do you mitigate that? There's tools that can actually help you mitigate that. Things like scheduling tools, right? What I try to do these days, I'll schedule all my tools in a scheduling app where for the next 4 weeks, my content actually might be, I could die, and for the next 4 weeks, the social media platform will still keep running, at least in terms of pushing out the content. Things like automatic responses are also very helpful for businesses that have a large influx of questions. For example, when someone, I don't have that, I only have it on WhatsApp, but on Instagram, you can say, when someone reaches out, you can say, hey, please allow us, between 18 to 24 hours to respond because we have a large influx. That way, people don't feel like you're leaving them hanging. You've set a clear expectation with timelines, but also you've given yourself the time to sort of like be able to unplug without feeling like you're neglecting your business. Lastly, I would like you to just follow the Masodi Organics journey. Started in my kitchen, moved to my garage, and now we're available in 8+ countries, South Africa through large retailers. Thank you. Your Clicks, Pick and Pay, Wellness Warehouse, Faithful to Nature, Take a Lot. MasodiOrganics.com is our biggest one I'm driving the most. Uganda, Kenya, we're going to Kenya next. United Arab Emirates, we're in Dubai. There's a couple of things that are happening, and the support is definitely so helpful. Please keep following the Masodi Organics journey. Please buy Masodi Organics products. I promise you they will not disappoint. Thank you so much.
Thank you so, so much, Liz. Another round of applause, please. Yeah. Beautiful stories. And we are really hoping that you are absorbing like a sponge as much as you possibly can and apply some of these ideas that you don't have to pay for. Wait, let me brand myself. Wait. Aha, I'll pretend you're not taking a picture. I'm branding myself, guys. And so thank you so much. And I'm so glad that you touched on Dubai. So we went to Dubai with Masodi, not physically, but we were there, product-wise. I don't love. We'll, one day, we'll also go. So Proudly SA asked Masodi to give us some of her products. We took them to Dubai for Dubai 2020. That 6-month project. But we're not the guys that took Oros then. Remember that picture? With baked beans and Fanta, and they said this is what South Africa is all about. Someone was very naughty there. wanted us to trend for nothing, but anyway. So took Masodi's products there to showcase, and she mentioned Romania. I think you did. No? Okay. So there was somebody who was interested in your product from Romania who was in Dubai, because Liz was a panelist in a forum that we organized during that time. And somebody said online, I'd like to talk to her. I love her product. I love her energy. And it's about that, guys. Access to market opportunities, even beyond the South African borders. In the interest of time, we're going to run very quickly before we serve lunch. May we please have the next speaker? And the next speaker is online. And hers is about 10 minutes. Her name is Amanda Ndlandisa. And she's going to talk about the commitment to producing exceptional and creative types of content, including, articles and live reads and all of that. We hope that you enjoy her presentation as well. And then thereafter, last but not least, we're going to hear from Bianca. You've been patiently waiting. You're my girl. I'm taking you everywhere. We're going to hear from Bianca after that, and then lunch is served. We'll take a few questions and comments from the floor, and then it'll be the end of the session. We're not doing very well with time, but we'll try and catch up quickly. So please, may we have the next speaker, please, on video, Amanda.
Good day, everyone. My name is Amanda Ndlandisa. I am a journalist, a copywriter, and sometimes a social media manager. I am not here to take too much of your time. I just want to talk a little bit about the importance of copy content when it comes to your business plan, your business objectives, or anything that has to do with your business. A lot of people might not see the point of copywriting or content when it comes to the greater scheme or the greater part of their business, but it is very important. There are so many benefits when it comes to including copywriting as part of your business objectives, and I'm here to just give you a few reasons why you should invest in copywriting, content, and anything that has to do with putting your business out there in the world of social media, digital marketing, newsletters, anything that will require you to have a copywriter. Content is king. I'm sure you guys have heard this before, but maybe you don't know exactly what it's supposed to mean. It just means that you need someone to put your message into words. You know what your business does, you know what your business objectives are, but sometimes you do need someone who's going to actually put that in a Word document and write a clear, concise messaging for you and your business. Writing and putting out clear messaging will not only help you put your business out there, but it also helps build trust amongst an audience. Once you find who your audience is, obviously aligned to your business objectives, it becomes easier to write for them, and it becomes easier to talk to them. And that's where copywriting comes in. A copywriter will come in, look at who you're talking to, look at what kind of message you're trying to put out there, and talk to your audience. And once you have that relationship with your audience where they feel like you are talking to them, anything after that is going to be easy. Creating copy that talks directly to the audience you're speaking to also creates trust. Whatever it is that you are selling or marketing, you do want the people that you are marketing it to trust you. Once the people feel as if they can trust you, anything from there is possible. People can start being your brand advocates just from the way you speak to them. 1,000 reasons why copy and content is important. One of them, for me, the most important, is that when you incorporate copy in your business, and you probably have a website or you have social media channels, the more you write and the more you talk about your business in writing form, it will help push you higher in search engines, which means that when people are looking for you, they don't have to look too far for you. So that's one of the reasons why I say that copy is very important to incorporate as part of your business objectives. Having a content strategy and having copy always available also might actually end up helping you when it comes to partnerships. If you want to partner with another brand or you want to put yourself out there, the first thing people do is go search for you on Google. They search for you on social media. When you have that strong presence and you have good copy, you do seem like an authority in whatever industry or whatever space that you are in, and that's what people look forward to. And it all comes back to writing clear, concise copy for your audience. As mentioned, having copy that talks about your business, it puts you in a position of authority. If your business deals with mining supplies, and if I'm searching for mining supplies and your business comes up, not only does your business website comes up, but I also want to see what is your CEO doing on LinkedIn. Is he writing articles on LinkedIn to put him in a place of authority when it comes to the industry leaders in that space? What is your business saying on Facebook? Am I seeing copy that talks about, not only promotes your business, but also talks about what mining supplies is about, the advantages and disadvantages? So creating copy and having sound copy doesn't only put your business out there, but it also puts you as the owner of the business out there as an authoritative leader when it comes to this particular industry or whatever industry that you are in, which makes you a thought leader in your industry. And last but not least, which I think is something that everyone wants, having a content strategy and having a content plan. You don't understand how much it can do for generating leads and sales. Going back to when I'm looking for a business online, I search, and when I search, whatever comes up is what I will perceive to be what your business is about. If all that comes out is just your website, there's no newsletter, there's no thought leadership articles from your CEO, there's no social media copy outside selling what you do, I might not trust you as much. But if I search for your business and your website comes out, and in your website I can download a newsletter, I can click to see what your CEO is talking about on LinkedIn, I can click to see what you guys are talking about on Facebook and Twitter and other social media platforms, then it makes me want to trust you and makes me want to buy into whatever it is that you're selling, because obviously you know what you're talking about. And all of this can be done by creating an amazing content strategy. It does not take a lot. You just need someone in the industry who can do it for you. In my experience with handling SMEs, I have noticed that copy and social media and content strategies are something that they do put in the back burner. I understand that in the beginning, maybe you don't have a budget for it, but it's something that you need to look into. Promise you, when they say content is king, they know exactly what they're talking about. I hope that this little talk was helpful. Thank you so much for having me, and good luck to all of you.
Is everybody still good? Awesome, we're just going to plug in here. Okay, guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much for your patience. I know it's been a long morning of all this valuable information, so thank you so much for sticking around until the end. We're almost there. All right, so my name is Bianca, and I'm the owner of House of Freya. House of Freya. I started the business just this year. Just a little bit of insight. I've been an employee for 10 years in the world of content creation and social media marketing. And one day I just decided I'm going to do my own thing. I had no plan. I had no backup. I had no savings. I had nothing. And I started that day. It's been really tough, but here we are. So I'm really excited to share my journey with you. So who we are. So, I don't know. Hello? Is it good? Okay. So we put the fire into creative and all things visual content. We do content creation, we do social media management, paid media strategies, brand and marketing strategies, visual brand communication strategies, and pretty much creative ideation for anything. So if you need a cool idea, we've got cool ideas. And we really pride ourselves on creating opportunities specifically for South Africans and specifically for the youth and specifically for women. Yeah, so that's our main thing. Okay, let me run through it. So over here I've got a couple of... Sorry, is it me? No? Okay. All right. So here's a couple of logos of clients that I've personally worked with other production companies over the years. As you'll see, we have brands from Hunters to MTV and even to local brands such as a Sustainable Fashion. Thank you. Yeah, the last person with the luck. Thank you. To even local brands. For example, there's a brand here called Ipikoko, which is a local fashion designer, sustainable fashion, which I'm wearing right now. And thank you. So I'm supporting local all the way. Just a little bit of insight. So what we do is what I've worked on is from TVCs to TV series, online content, music videos, everything along that line. All right, so everybody here, can you please take out your phone right now? I'm propagating, Liz. So there's a QR code right here. If I can please ask you to all scan that with your phone. This will take you to our Instagram page. And over there, if you can please follow, show some love, show some local support. So while you guys are doing that, I'm just going to take you through a quote that I strongly believe in, and I'm going to take this with me wherever I go. So some of you who have heard it, the two in the front, I'm saying it again. If you can make an audience feel something, then you have won. Remember who you're speaking to. We make decisions based on feeling. So remember that. If you can make someone feel something, even if it's good, or you're speaking about something negative and you're making them sad, if you get feeling, you've won. Has everybody followed us? All right, thank you. Okay, so the question I get asked a lot by clients, why isn't my page growing, right? You're doing everything, you're posting content, you're using hashtags, you're doing reels, stories, and it's not growing, right? So there are various factors that are causing that or can contribute to that. So I just have a couple of questions here, and I would like to just see a show of hands. My first question is, when you're on social media, on the couch, at work, or wherever you are, when you see posts, do you like every post you see? If you do, please put up your hand. No one, right? We don't, right? We scroll. Oh, that's cool. Double tap, right? So you don't like every post you see. Fair enough. My second question, show of hands. Do you follow every page from every post you see? So every post you see, do you go to their page and follow them? No, we don't have time for that, guys. Right, so we don't do that. Next question. Do you often see the same page posting even though you don't follow them? So you don't follow them. Do you see all their posts coming up if you don't follow them? You do? No? Maybe you do. That would be. Please tell me who that's up there. So if we don't follow them, we don't generally see their content. And this is exactly what's happening. People that are seeing your content aren't liking every post. They aren't following you because we know we're human and we just scroll, and it depends on what engages us, right? So don't be too hard on yourself. We're all doing it anyway. Okay, so question next. Why do people follow and engage? Right? This is what we're trying to get to. We're trying to figure that out so that we can build our pages and build our businesses. So the first thing is your audience are human. And Liz touched on this. Your audience are human. And a lot of people get really caught up on social media of B2B marketing or B2C marketing. I don't like to use any of that. Mine is what I like to call H to H, which is human to human. Remember that whoever is seeing your content is a human. So speak to them like a person. Don't treat them like anything other than that. So that's where I said, remember you're speaking to humans, step number 1. And people make decisions based on feeling. Whether they are good or bad, make sure that you are touching on someone's emotion. You're making them feel something. Even, for example, this fashion designer of this jumpsuit that I'm wearing. We don't usually go out and say it's made from linen, it's this, it's this, it's this. We rather give a we rather target them with the way we approach with our content of how it makes you feel. It's December, it's holiday time. Throw on a bright jumpsuit and enjoy the festive season. You feel something rather than telling me what stitching and how many pockets it has, right? And provide value and show purpose. I always say to my clients, don't just post for the sake of posting, and don't just create content for the sake of creating content, because just creating content is just pretty pictures, right? We need to provide value, and who are we providing value to? Humans. You and I. That's all. Okay, so next step, get in their face. Get in their face. So obviously you need to try and utilize the various social media platforms that you have, but also in the beginning stages of building a business, or even if you're far down the line of building a business, don't be too pressured to be everywhere. Rather just be where you're comfortable and utilize that. Don't put pressure, oh, I have to do TikToks and I have to do all these different things. If you're not comfortable, don't do it. Rather be yourself. Then consistency, consistency, consistency. If you are posting 1 to 2 times a week, don't expect a lot of growth. You need to be consistent. You need to be posting at least once a day. Whether it's a story, whether it's a reel, whether it's a still, engage, be casual, be consistent. And now being consistent as small business owners is very difficult because we're very busy doing other things. So yeah, try as much as you can to be consistent. And then don't get too fancy. Just be real. Just be real. There's a lot of content going out there with these fancy edits and these fancy cuts. Don't get too fancy. Just be real. Document. Show what's happening. Even if you're having a cup of coffee, you're stuck in traffic. If you're stuck in traffic, for example, and you share a little story saying, oh my gosh, traffic because of Eskom and the robots are out, guess what? You're relating to somebody else and they'll feel you and they'll, relate to you. Document your progress and process. Liz mentioned this. Very easy way to get content. Whatever you are doing, whatever your business is, document your process. Whether you just received your pizza boxes that you're going to brand, document it. Delivery just arrived. We're now, stacking them up, getting ready to package them. Document your process, even if it's your own personal process. People like, on social media, a lot of times we all happy and everything's going great. Do you know what your audience likes as well? When things aren't going great. So if you're having a tough day and you just stepped in a puddle of water, or your emails aren't working, if you want to share it, someone's going to relate. So be real and document your process. Then paid media, we sort of touched on paid media. So paid media seems to be like a very complicated space because there's a lot of data and analytics and targeting and demographics and psychographics. So the main thing is if you're starting out, a paid media strategy will definitely help you in targeting the right audience. But you can just start with boosting. And on Instagram, you can do it right from your phone. You can just go to a boost. You can put the amount that you want to do. If you want to do 100 Rand for 4 days, you can target the audience there. Boosting and paid media helps you with one main thing. In the beginning, we spoke about, do you like every post you see? Do you follow every post, blah, blah, blah. Paid media gets you in front of the person who is your target audience. There are many brands and businesses out here which each of us will want to buy from and support, but we don't know them because we just didn't see them. It's not that we weren't supporting you guys, it's just we haven't seen you. So paid media helps you to get in front of the right person. So it is a little edge, especially when building your pages, is to use a little bit of boosting just to get to the right person. Once you go to the right person, they will share and you'll get to more of the right people and you'll be able to build your community like that. All right, so with your social media, have a plan, but be flexible. So what I mean by that, what we do in House of Frey is we generate strategized content plans on a monthly basis, which maps out your posts for each day during the month, captions, hashtags, posting dates, posting times. So that's obviously quite intensive, but you yourselves with your business can do a plan. Draw up a calendar, put out in the week which posts you want to do. This one's a photo of me trying on the new glasses that I have. This one is one of this. This is a reel. This is a reel of me walking my dog. Do a little plan and try and schedule that into your day to have some sort of structure, but then be flexible. Because what happens is things change, things come up that you're not planning, and you still want to share it with people and share your journey. So have a plan, it really does help. From my side, even though we are a social media and content creation agency, I find it very difficult to get myself to put myself on camera and share with the audience, because firstly, for 10 years, I've been a person who's been behind the camera, not in front of the camera, and it really freaks me out. So having a plan sort of puts you to focus on what you need to do. And like Liz mentioned as well, don't be afraid to put your face on camera. For me, it's the scariest thing in the world, just like standing here right now. But try it out. Try it out. Okay, so why is content important? As the last speaker said, content is king. I totally agree with that. But what I believe is content is king, but strategy is queen. So some content tips. Okay, so we all telling you today, okay, you need to shoot content, edit it, post it, do your caption, do your hashtags, be consistent, be amazing, right? Okay, so few tips that I can share with you. One is create your own content. It's always great if you can have somebody else create content for you.